Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Create with Dee. I'm Dee Slater, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make this beautiful stationery set. It's featuring the products in the Wildflower Birthday Suite of products. You may have seen me do this or use that suite a couple of weeks ago when I did the mini Z fold. And this just kind of continues on with that beautiful suite of products. As people are getting notifications that I'm going live, I thought I just would share with you that this is the Wildflower Birthday Suite of products. And the Specialty Designer Series paper, you'll see in the samples here pretty soon, that each of these papers have some gold foil elements already embedded into the paper. Also in this paper pack, you get 2 sheets. They're the same pack of the ephemera punch outs here. So the design work is all ready to go for you. So in today's class, I'm going to show you how you can use some of those ephemeras and the paper and no stamping to create these beautiful, beautiful stationery sets. Let me show you what this is all about. So we have this beautiful gold thread or gold ribbon that's part of that suite of products. And the ribbon is put through in such a way that it kind of holds the cards in place. And these are just some samples of how I use those ephemeras to make these beautiful floral note cards. And of course, bling up the envelope on it. And then also, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and make a birthday stationery set. In fact, if you would like to make this as a create at home class kit, please look at the descriptions here at the bottom of the video, and you can see how you can get your very own to take it home. And these are just some birthday ideas, but I think this is a lovely, lovely idea to be able to gift to somebody. Maybe you're doing craft shows and you just change it up for the seasons or the theme that you want to do. It's a great way as well as using up some of our designer series paper. Maybe after we get done with our card making, we have leftovers, and why not make some gifts up ahead of time? Okay, let's get started making these. Oh, and as always, as you're coming on, please do say hi in the comments. I always like to see who might be watching and where you're watching from. And I'm in Northeast Indiana. If you're interested in stamping with me locally, please again check out those links and sign up for my newsletter information about that. Okay, so let's get started making this. Put this in here. I'll have the measurements at the end as well, but here's a screenshot that you can take of the basic measurements. If you want to, you may even want to save this video to your favorites if you want to come back time and time again and just take a quick look at the layering things again. Hi, Mary Lou. She's from Northeast Ohio. Hello, I'm a fellow Buckeye at heart too. I grew up in Northwest Ohio. Hi, Mary Lou. Okay, so we're going to first make the stationery holder here. So we're going to make this little pocket, and what we want to do for that is we're going to start with a piece of our 12 by 12 cardstock. This is the basic white cardstock. Ahead of time, I've cut it down to 8.5. So this is 8.5 by 12. Along the long side, along the 12-inch side, we're going to score at 6. I'm lining it up on my trimmer and get the score. Okay, and then we're going to turn it, and along the short side, that's the 8.5 side, we're going to line it up at 2-inch and score here. Okay, so that's our scoring that we're going to need. And before we get started with making the pockets, I do want to decorate. Let me show you here. Whoops. I do want to decorate the inside flap for it. And for that, we're going to need a piece of our designer series paper cut at 1 by 12 inches. And this is what's great. You can use any of the scrap pages that or pieces that you have left over. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my trimmer again. And really this one's a little large, but I'm going to just cut this back down just a tad to 1 inch. All of these papers mix and match. I'm going to show you the sample on the floral one. And then the birthday one is just very similar to it. Okay, so what we'll do first is, oops, let me get my chair action here. All right, so here's what this pocket looks like. It's a little hard to see with it being white, but here's our, this is, oops, that one actually cut. I'm gonna go forward with it. So this is, we're gonna actually have this folded up, and our strip of designer paper is gonna go right in the middle. It's easier to put this down first, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to kind of flip that over. I scored way too hard on that, and I actually messed up on the paper. So get our liquid glue. Primarily using liquid glue and tear and tape for this project for the stationery. All right, so I'm just going to put that. That's 12 inches is the length of this designer paper, and so is the cardstock. So we're just going to put that right in the middle. All righty. So when it's turned up, this is the beginning of our pocket. Once we get all of the cards in, and to fold it, we're going to have some bulk. So for example, if we would just do this and start to put paper in, it would get a little bulky and not fold right. This is going to bug me that that's scored wrong, or that's broken. But anyways, we're going to give a little relief here in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little V here. And this is why I want to put the designer paper on first. That way I'm just cutting through everything. And there's no right or wrong way of how wide you want it. Oops, darn it. I'm going to go ahead and just tape this. If this would happen in real life, of course, I would grab another piece of cardstock and do this again. I just got a little anxious for you guys. Okay, so there we've made our little pocket. Now we're going to grab our tear and tape, and I want to hold down these sides. So I'm going to add tear and tape to the right and the left side. I do like to make my pockets here first before I do anything else. So we'll do that on that. Get that pressed down and get my take your pick tool. At the time of the video, it's Galentine's Day. It's February 23rd. And here in Northeast Indiana, we had a little snowy and icy evening. And so it was a little slow going into the studio here today, but not too bad. Okay, so here's a pocket that you can use for a lot of different things on it, you know, however you might want to put in it, but it perfectly fits 2 cards. All right, the next thing that we're going to do, let me give you the sample again, is we are going to put on the layer number 1 on here, and I'm using Azure Afternoon. It's a really pretty kind of medium blue on it. The designer paper actually calls for Blueberry Bliss, but I liked to pick up the lighter tones in it because there's some blends of that, and I really liked how the lighter blue looked with it. If you note, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put this gold ribbon through it. They officially call it the open weave trim I'm in love, love, love with this. It is such a great accent. And I'll kind of show you that on the cards when we make it. But I'll show you this unique way that you can put the gauze, put your ribbon through the stationery set so that it acts as a little holder for it. And plus it looks so pretty with it. Okay, so what we want to do first is, let me get the supplies out. Where are my thingamabobs? Hold please. Alrighty. They have to be just out of reach here. Sorry about this, guys. Hang with me just a second. Oh, there they are. Right where they should be. Okay. So again, I'm going to start with, this is what I'm calling layer 1. So layer 1 is 6 by 5.5. And we're going to go ahead and put that down first, okay? We're going to put that down first before we start doing any hole punching for our ribbon that goes through. Let me know in the comments if you've ever made these stationery sets before. Okay, so on the card or on the stationery front, we're just going to put that in the middle. Now what I want to do is I want to mark halfway on either side a mark. And since this is, when it's closed, this is 6.5. So I'm going to just grab a ruler and I'm going to mark half of 6.5 is 3 1/4. So I'm going to mark 3 1/4 from both sides. Oops, make sure I've got it there. That way it's mostly centered when I go to punch the holes. So we're going to need either an off, like a 3-hole or like a hole punch. Maybe you have a crocodile, something that's nice and strong that will go through. And I've tested this a couple of times and I can punch through all of these layers with a hole punch. So we'll see how we do with this being live. Okay, so I'm going to get some of the stuff out of here. Okay, so with my hole punch, I'm going to go through all of these layers at once. If you have dexterity problems, you might need some help with this, or if you have a crocodile. Okay, so I'm going to line it up. Punch. As you can see, it went through all of it. Turn it around and do the same. So it'll do, my hole punch will do all of these, but when I had the designer paper on it, it was just thick enough that it didn't go through. Okay, so now that we have that on, we can do our ribbon. And what we want to do is we want to give ourselves enough ribbon to tie a nice pretty bow afterwards. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, giving myself, you know, so if you want to think about maybe doubling the length of that, you can. I just think that looks good. You can see that I'm using up mine quite a bit. If you want to take the class, you do get a spool of this along with it. And I'm sure that you'll be like me and you'll find all sorts of ways to use this. You've seen me use it a couple of times on my videos. Okay, so first what I'm doing is I'm feeding it through the back side. And this is so lightweight, I don't have to worry about it tearing the cardstock. And let's see, just trying to keep it all somewhat straight. Again, I'm just kind of making a little point here. And so we went behind, through, and then we're just going to go up and down. So we're going to feed it down through that. So this is going to create the first little pocket catch. And we can close this if we want and feed it through the front. So it's kind of up, down, up of a weave. And then again, we're coming through the inside out. I love this idea of having this so that it holds whatever we want to have in here. And then with this open weave, it's real easy. If you want to, you can fluff it out and turn it. It's real forgiving. That's another reason why I love it. All right, and so then now when we're ready, we have plenty over here that we can tie. All right, let's continue decorating the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this one here, and I'll make one of the cards, and then I'll show you the samples of the other ones up close. All right, so now we're going to take our designer paper layer, and this again, let me bring the measurements back in. We're going to use layer 2. It's 5 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then we're also going to need a 1 by 5 1/4. And this paper on the flower one that I chose, it doesn't really have direction. So just kind of pick the direction that you like the best. And now we're going to layer that onto our Azure Afternoon. And again, I just want to emphasize that this is why I like to punch this first, just in case you get a little close to it, you can always put that on. All right, so now I've got, this is the back side of this. You could, of course, get a different pattern on it that you want, but while you're cutting it and you have maybe that measurement, you can just flip this over. And again, I'm just using liquid glue. I can't wait till my mom sees this. She loves this type of stuff, and she has friends that she likes to give thank you gifts to, and some of her helpers, and I know that she'll want one of these to do that. Okay. All right. So now it's time to decorate the front of it with the ephemeras that come in that pack. And so ahead of time, if you wanted to, you don't even need this stitched circle, but this is the largest stitched circle in the stylish shapes. And let me just kind of grab that out. And I'm going to get my dimensionals and pop this up. Hope you guys are liking this. Let me know if you do. So again, this is a non-stamping project, something that if you have those packs of ephemeras that you can use. I'm kind of calling these like a note card set in the fact that they don't have any sentiments with it. Let's normally even that out just a little more as far as the spacing. But then this goes right in the middle of our stationery holder front. And then you can take any of the images that you would like from the ephemera pack. And let me see if I can bring these over. All right, so all of these come with it. If you get the kit, you would just get one sheet with all of them. So I'm using this big bouquet here, and I'll show you some of the other ones. And let me go ahead and get that one out. You know, so I'm going to use that as the big focal. If you're making multiples of these, like you could use this other one. So again, you could get 2 or 3 of those easily out of the kit. But I'm going to go ahead and use the one that I had for the sample. And let me get some of this off to the side here. Okay. Again, I'm going to grab my dimensionals and put this big embellishment on here. And kind of go 1, 2, 3 up the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to double stack dimensionals here and here. And the reason why I'm double stacking it is that there's one stack here and one stack here, and I want this to be the same level on both sides, kind of to support it. So if you ever have these large embellishments, and you've already raised one of them up, you can just double stack your dimensionals or your foam dots to get the same height of the support. Okay, get that off. Okay, I think I got them all. Oops, don't have that one off. Okay, so now we'll put this on. So pretty. Okay. There we go. And we're going to add some of the embellishments that come in that suite of products. This is known as party dots, and it's got the colors that are in the paper. So pretty. Again, I love these. They don't have much sparkle because you've got all of the gold glimmer in the paper itself. So I'm just going to kind of put 3 all together, use 1 of each color, and that. So that's the front of it. Oh my gosh, so easy and so pretty with this paper. I hope you agree. All right, let's make a card for the inside. All of the cards have the same measurements on it and the same idea of how to put it together. All right, so again, I'm going to stick with the flower theme here. And I did, on my sample, I did use the other large embellishment one. And so each kit or each stationery set will hold 2 cards and 2 envelopes. You could probably get a little more in there. I just did that for this class just to make sure that, you know, it closed nicely and everything. Oops. And what we want to do is kind of just mirror what we did here on our stationery front. So one of the cards, I tend to like to coordinate with the front of it, and then the second card in it, it doesn't have to. All right, so we're going to layer our designer paper onto our Azure Afternoon. And so here's the card measurements. The Azure Afternoon layering piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And the DSP, the designer paper, is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then an optional strip of designer paper, 1 by 3.5 or 1 by 4 3/4. And I'll talk about why you can have either one of those. All right. For this one, I'm using the designer paper that's the 1 by 3.5 because I'm orienting it on the vertical way. And let's go ahead. And so if you were having your card go this way and you wanted a strip, you would need to do that 4 3/4. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and put this, I'm going to put it right in the middle. Whoops, go right in the middle. There we go. All right, so we're still going to use our open weave gold. I just love that. And so wherever you have your strip of designer paper on it, oops, and that's not quite even. Let's see if I have time. Yep, got a little play yet. That's why I like liquid glue. I'm going to straighten that out. Still a little wonky. Go down. Okay, so on the back side, approximately where the strip is at, this case it's in the middle, I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape down, and this is going to help hold our open weave ribbon. I wanted you to see how I did that. And we'll do that here. Get this off, maybe. Try this again. Well, while I'm getting this tear and tape off, as you can see, like if you follow me here, you normally, I normally have a 2-camera look to it. And you know, I'm not having as much technical difficulties as what I've had in the past 3 weeks, but my computer kind of went back to this thing that it was doing. And so I'm just not able to show my, you know, have the 2 screens this time, but I think you guys are okay with knowing how I look. All right, so you can just take some of the scrap that you might have of this, the gold open weave ribbon. Quite honestly, I would probably just keep it on the spool, but I'm just going to tack that down and then wrap this around. Look how we can do this on our cards. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I just love it. And then put that down. So the tear and tape just really helps anchor that. Liquid glue and dimensionals would be a little bit harder, so I just like the double-sided tear and tape. Look how pretty that is again. All of our card making like that, we do want to do stamped sentiments. I'm so going to be using up my gold that way. Okay, so now we can put this layer onto a traditional card base. So 8.5 by 11. And again, you just pick the orientation that you want to go with. And we'll go ahead and now I'll put some liquid glue. I'll kind of go over that a little bit. corners. Okay. So now we'll have that matting layer down. And just like before, you know, if you wanted to, you could do another little smaller circle. We'll see that on more samples. But honestly, this just kind of eclipsed it, so I didn't put it on this one. But I do want you to see that little gold kind of peekaboo out there a little bit. So I did like that, to keep doing that. So maybe not the best sample to actually show that, but I just wanted you to see how, kind of wanted to show you that other big embellishment. Okay, so get that. And so now we have this really pretty set of note cards. So however that you want it. I think I left it that orientation. Okay. All right, so then what we can do too, and we won't do this together, but I took a 6-inch by 2 3/8 piece of the designer paper. Doing the envelopes is great if you save that for last. That way you can use whatever scraps of your designer paper that you want to use from your coordinating pack for your envelopes. So I just put glue on the flap, put the paper over it, and then trimmed around. And again, the measurements are on there. All right, so let's go ahead, and so that's how you make the cards, and you can just mix and match them however you'd like. So let's look at my finished samples again. And we'll put these together. Where did my cards go? Okay, so here are some other cards that I did. So this is showing the 1 by 3 3/4 way on it. And I just did, and here's where I did a smaller stitch circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. And I just built from the ephemeras my own flower pack on there. They're just note cards because again, we're gifting them. So anybody could use these for thank yous, for you know, birthdays, get wells, whatever they wanted to write in there. And so when you have your cards made and ready to go, you can put these in one of two ways. You could put all of the cards in one side and then show off your pretty envelopes on the other side. Something like that, if you'd like. I personally prefer having the cards shown. Here's another, I'll kind of show you the designer paper a little different. Like one's got more of the peach background. And then this one has more of the pool party background on the florals. So put that, I kind of just like to have them coordinate together. So I tend to do this, kind of just put the envelope like that and tuck it in on that side. And then here's some of the leftover paper that I had, but it still all plays nicely. And so just put that in there like so. So now I've got this beautiful 2-pocket envelope or stationery set. And then now when we're ready to close it, we have this easy to tie, really easy to tie and easy to untie, really loose open weave gold ribbon. And it's like you don't even have to be too picky on how this goes together, which I like too. So if you struggle tying ribbons or if they want to retie it, you know, everyone can be successful with it. Okay, and then you can trim that down however you like. But look how pretty. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you do. All right, so you've seen what the flower one looks like. Oh, and I put gems on each one of the cards too. I'll show you in the birthday one. So this would just be an overall note card set that you could have. But if you wanted to use the birthday theme in there too, you could make a cute little birthday stationery set to give somebody. So when they open it up, again, look how easy that opens up. Here are some cards that you could make. Again, they're very generic so that anybody could make them. Or use them for anything. So here's one. Again, I cut down part of this banner. There's, I think, 3 on either side of that. It was a longer one, so I just trimmed that down. A balloon separate. This is separate. Missed a little gem there. And then here's another one of the card envelopes decorated. And then Here I used that cake pattern again on that and added one of the little flowers since the cake has the flowers on it. Here's the ribbon again. I didn't want to cover up so much of the pattern, so I dropped the 3.5-inch width here. I dropped that down a little bit so that you can see this beautiful cake paper. Again, I chose not to stamp anything on the inside. That way, whomever I give this to, they have a little more flexibility with what they want to say in it. All right. Let me see what else is there. I think that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. If you followed along all the way to the end, thank you very much. And I hope that you would consider giving me a thumbs up, like or subscribe, share the video. And here's one more last look at the measurements that, that you can use with it. Let's see, get that up a little better. And there we go. All right, everybody, have a great day and happy crafting. Bye-bye.